Let's practice the power serve plus strong forehand combo with Victoria in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wi-Fi Studios. So this power serve to follow up with strong forehand style of play has gained popularity in the biweekly tournaments lately. So I start with a top 50 player, Mariov. Top 50 at the time I was checking after this match. No, I'm not sure now where he is, of course. So this is a series of matches where I try a different way of playing. Powerful serve plus strong forehands. I usually play an all-rounder style, having decent agility, a good serve, big forehand, decent backhand. I want to get used to this style. Power serve, so as to play a bit better in the bi-weekly tournaments where I'm going to try for some editions this time. Yeah, as you can see, this Mariov opponent doesn't laugh. And well, I made some very inaccurate hits there. Fortunately, I play a bit better afterwards. I corrected my own error with that accurate on the line forehand. Well, there was nothing to do. He was taking the initiative. Here I'm taking, and my forehand is not good. My backhand is not good, sorry. So, fortunately, very fortunately, he was a bit in a rush. But right afterwards, I was giving back the gift. And here he is giving back. It's a match full of errors, but you know, there are a lot of hits where if you receive a strong serve, you have a lot of chance to make an error anyway. This player likes to play fast whenever possible, to return very fast. Alright, I take the lead here, and I end up with an ace, which would not be possible if I was playing with the the usual all-rounder style. So let's take a look at this stats. Big serve 70 is not really too big. This was an old match, so you are going to see those serve stats increase in the next part of power serve plus strong forehand practice. So playing with that power serve plus strong forehand combo has its advantages and disadvantages, like for all other play styles, of course. So among the advantages, I would say that serving powerfully often forces your opponent to return a weaker ball, provided that you hit good spots, of course, far from your opponent's cycle of accuracy. Okay, so here I'm playing a good player with Kaito and Joker Chord, which is the most dangerous combo to counter the power serve plus strong forehand style. Fortunately, I don't know why this player keeps a bit playing on my forehand. Maybe that this opponent is expecting me to be wrong-footed, and that I expect her or him, I don't know, to to play always on my backhand. So and this is a kind of counter punchers who likes to play like a Nismo. I don't know if you have played Nismo in Tour 7. I have played a lot of times versus him. Nismo is famous to play very secure shots, but extremely accurately. He always tries, a bit like this player, to play very secure hits, waiting for the opponent, the attacker, the baseliner, aggressive baseliner, or the power server to commit the error first. So here, my opponent is going to pay cash this waiting attitude, waiting all the time for the opponent to to commit the error first. Well, I can understand that, especially when you are leading like this, 5-2. There's no reason to try to kill the match. You just have to leave the pressure to your opponent, of course. But the problem is that I have played this opponent several times, and he or she does that all the time. I mean, whether she or he is this lead, I'm going to call him because it's Kato. Whenever he is, whether he's lead or not, he's going to play that way. Okay, returning into the court and waiting for the opponent to commit the error. Never try to hit the corners. Never try to hit very close to the sidelines. Yeah, he's not the kind of player who likes to take risk. That can pay in a lot of matches, especially versus impatient opponents. But no, that was not my case here. I know that my time will come against this style of player. I mean, Nismo doesn't play exactly like that. He plays. I mean, he plays a bit like that, but most of the time he's going to do the alternate hits between the two corners most of the time. This is very regular but extremely accurate. So at one point you are going to lose stamina and running from left to right to left, and sometimes he will try to wrong foot you. So that's another that's the same style but another level of accuracy. Okay, so let's play another Kaito playing with the Punisher God, which is not the best string possible versus a strong forehand because this counters only backhands, giving precision where your opponent is hitting a strong backhand, but still has some benefits. That means a critical hit and the long catch tier 2. So I was saying that serving powerfully often forces the opponent to return a weaker ball, provided that you hit the good spots, and then you can hit hard on this weak ball to try and win right behind. And with your strong forehand, you have a good chance, really, if you are accurate enough, to hit a winning forehand, or at least to put your opponent in a difficult position, because he or she has to return a hard stroke, okay? Your big forehand, your strong forehand. And then we try to return your next strong forehand, one after another, until, of course, until that you, at the moment, if you don't place your character well enough, it's not in the good position, then your opponent will return on your backhand side. And if your opponent succeeds in playing the ball on your backhand, the rally is over. Because that will be very hard for you to take the initiative again. Remember, you have a weak for a backhand. So, among the disadvantages, I would say that if the opponent has a very good agility and a good forehand or backhand, the powerful serve will not produce the desired effect. Because your power serve needs to have much higher stats than the agility of your opponent to be efficient. And the opponent will very quickly move, especially with the choker court, to hit a good return quite easily, especially if your opponent knows how to counter power servers. It will return on your backhand or return a drop shot to win the point. And because you have low agility in that build, you will have a hard time catching that drop shot. Even if you catch it, it will give a very weak return, and well, your opponent will just toy with that, will just play the way he wants. So if your opponent has chosen Kaito, has a good agility, a very decent forehand or backhand, and a long catch court like the choker court, and knows how to counter big server style of play, then it will be extremely hard to win the match. Unless your opponent is overconfident and underestimates you. If there's a big gap of trophies, for instance, then you may have a chance. You will see that in the next part. That I beat three, three top 50 with that power serve style, because I think that they were a bit underestimating. They were all between 2,700 and 3,000, 3,100 trophies, and obviously that's very high. And plus, it's a problem of lack of motivation as well. You don't have the same motivation when you play against somebody having between 1,650 trophies and 1,700 trophies. You don't have the same motivation than when you play another top 50 player. Obviously, when you play, when you name Halep or Vida, and when you play Fly Jamin, or you play I don't know, Passero or Chacal, it's another, it's another, of course, it's another level of motivation. Where Chacal and Passero don't play in the Tour 7, but it will put you in a very difficult position if the opponent has very good forehand or backhand attribute. All he or she has to do is to wait to get the opportunity to hit your backhand. And that's what I say, that will put you in a difficult position when your opponent does that, because you have a very weak backhand in that lineup, remember? Okay, obviously here sometimes, let's go back to the match a bit. With that, yeah, to counter that, a lot of players will try to hit on your backhand, and when they rush, they will commit double faults or other errors that put them on more pressure. Okay, that was another power server. 76 of serve she had. That's possible with the lunge, this card, which is an epic card that is unlocked when you reach the Tour 8. Okay, Jose Lamata, unusual players in Tour 7, playing the aggressive baseliner, but with the Siberian wire it can be pretty dangerous if you underestimate the agility, especially if this opponent knows how to do those drop shots returns. You have to anticipate, of course, you have to read the pattern, but then when you rush to the net, the precision of the Siberian wire gives this opponent the possibility to adjust and to hit wherever he wants to. Fortunately, with this power serve plus strong forehand, you have, I said it, what they say, a strong forehand. So with your strong forehand, especially when you play against an opponent having a low serve, you can deal a lot of damage, provided that you read a bit the pattern of your opponent. Here, he has been read. Well, let's say she is Viktoria. Okay, see, a strong forehand is always useful to shorten. I don't know why. I know that she knows that she has been read, and she knows that I know that. Why does she keep doing those drop shot returns? Well, that was for the previous shot, not for this one. This one, she has changed a bit. Okay. As you can see, my backhand is awful. I don't know. I don't understand here. Sometimes some players just try to rush and win that point very fast, why the opponent is at the net. I mean, I'm not a volley player. What's the point? Go trying to hit it hard and fast. Even if I catch that ball, because the opponent is playing soft forehand, it will not change anything. I would just, with my poor volley skill, I would just put that back desperately, and well, you just have to follow up. Anyway, it does like that you can win matches. So I'm not complaining, of course. So overall, the opponent will just have to take a profit of your low agility and weak backhand and toy with it. So if you can try to balance a bit by increasing the agility, reducing both forehand and serve power, of course, in the process, and by choosing a long catch chord like the choker chord, well, it's better. And that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to fine tune a bit this style, because well, obviously, if you in the big weekly tournament you have only 19 of agility and under 20 of backhand, it will lead you nowhere. If you don't succeed with this style, if you don't succeed in winning the point in 2 shots maximum after you serve, well, you are doomed. You can almost say that it's over, especially during the big weekly tournament. Well, I would say that this style works above all versus players who have lower agility than yourself and or who don't know how to counter big servers. It can work against opponents having high agility if you hit super accurately tough, and you will see that in the next video part. Hitting powerful and accurate serves in tricky spots as well to return, and hitting powerful forehands out of the opponent's reach. But it requires a very high level of concentration, and it's not easy to have this focus level all the time during all the match, so that's not easy. That's why I prefer to play with the all-rounder style, but well, I need to practice with this style anyway to get some preparation for the biweekly tournaments, even if the biweekly tournaments are not my priority at all when I play Tennis Clash. But anyway, okay, well, let's just see my lineup. It has changed a bit because I have level ups the Jolly Roger and the Spring cards. Well, I hope you enjoy watching me play this series of matches using the Power Surplus Strong Forehand combo in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wi-Fi Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 to stay tuned for new videos of Tennis Clash. Thank you a lot for your support, and see you soon on Gameplay 365. Bye-bye.